Hello everybody. So what we're going to work on right now, I'm going to go over just a few examples. There is some notes that I did, and if you are having a hard time with this, there's a way I'm going to show you right now that you can answer these questions. So if you go to IXL topic V4, multiplication with exponents, what we are doing here is you're always going to have some sort of variable with exponents on there. If there is no exponent, the exponent is a 1. So here what we are going to be doing is we have m8 multiplied with m2. What you are going to do is you're going to add the two exponents, giving you the result m8 plus 2, 10. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and type in on my IXL. Type in your m, press this blue box to type in the exponent and your number. Okay, so you're going to keep doing the same thing. So for example, this next one, W4 times W8 will give you W. 4 plus 8 is 12. So type in W, your exponent, 12. Now it starts off with some pretty easy examples. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to some of the next levels and go over a few of those, and then we'll go on to the next topic. So for example, this one, anytime that you have an exponent, a variable with no exponent, then there is a 1 right there. And anytime you have a variable with an exponent of 0, that entire term becomes a 1. So for example, this is equal to 1. And remember that you don't have to write 1 with a variable. So then my answer for this is only going to be P1. I don't have to write the second one because it's a 1 and I don't have to write it. So P exponent 1. Now you don't have to write the exponent if it's a 1, but you can if you want to. It'll still mark it correct. Same thing with this next example. So y0 times y80. This entire first term becomes 1, but you don't have to write that with the variable. So then your answer will only be y exponent 80. So y exponent 80. And let's see the answer that you have there. Okay, now jumping up to the last level, these are the same thing. They look like they are harder because there are more terms. You just have to keep working with the same variables. So I'm going to write this entire thing down. T0 U. Remember, if there is no exponent, there is a 1. V0 W exponent of 1 times T exponent 0 U exponent 9 V exponent 1 W exponent 4. Okay, then remember, anything with a 0 is 1 and you don't really have to write it again. So I'm just going to scratch them off. I don't need this one, I don't need this one or this one. Okay, so I no longer have T. I don't have to write the T anymore. Then the U, I have 1 U here and I have 9 U's here. So I have U, 1 plus 9, 10. And then the next one, so I have, if I'm following the alphabet, my next one would be V. There's only one V, so V. Remember, I don't have to write that exponent. I can, but I don't have to. And then W, 1 plus 4. So W, 1 plus 4 is 5. So again, on this V, you don't have to write the 1, the exponent of 1, but if you want to, you can. And there it is. So just type that in. U exponent 10. Make sure you click on this so that it moves down from the exponent. Otherwise, if you continue typing, it'll mark it wrong because everything is in the exponent. So click to move it down. V. See, I don't have to write the exponent there, so I'm not going to write it. Then W exponent 5. Submit. That's all you're doing in this example, and then the rest of them are pretty much the same thing. If we go back to our topic list, let's work on V5. So I'm going to separate this into two parts. I'm going to do V4, V5, and then I'll do the other two. So very similar to what you were doing right now, you instead of when you were multiplying, but instead of adding the exponents, you're going to subtract the exponents. So we have J5 divided by J7. So we have J5 minus 7, which gives us J negative 2. Now, if you look at the example on IXL, it tells you your answer has to have positive exponents. This exponent is negative, so how are we going to change that? There is a rule that I did in the notes before, where what you can do is, if your exponent is negative, so then what I'm going to do here, my answer will become 1 over J, and then I can make that exponent positive. And that will be my final result. These are a little bit harder when you get to the negatives, but once you get the hang of it, it's going to get a lot easier. So that's going to be my answer. I'm going to type in the fraction 1, and then the bottom will be J exponent 2. Okay. Here's another example of the division. So F negative 7 divided by F4, F negative 7 minus 4. So this is also going to end up giving us a negative number. That's going to give us F negative 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So same as the previous example, I'm going to write it as a fraction to make that exponent positive. So 1 over F negative, positive 11, sorry, not negative, positive. So come over to IXL and let's type that in. Fraction 1 over F exponent 11. And that will be my answer right there. I'm going to do this next one as well. So Z negative 2 divided by Z negative 6. That means we have Z negative 2. Remember, with division, you always subtract. So minus, then negative 6. So what's going to happen here, that's going to become a positive. Remember, two negatives make a positive. So negative 2 plus 6. What that is going to give you is Z to the power of exponent of positive 4. Because you have a positive 6 and you're taking 2 away from that. So that will be your answer. Now, because this one does not have a negative exponent now, we do not have to write it as a fraction, then that will be it. Z exponent 4. Submit. Right, then as you go on to the last examples, once you get up to the higher levels, it's pretty much the same thing. And then the very last part is going to be the same thing, but with more than one letter. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this one right here real quick, and then we'll move on to the next video shortly. So U 0, V negative 1, W divided by U, V minus 4, W 0. Remember, anytime that you have the exponent zeros, you don't really have to write those anymore because they become a 1. So I can eliminate those. I don't need them there. If you notice, the U is in the bottom and it's positive, so it's going to stay in the bottom of our fraction. So we have our fraction, U will be in the bottom. If you notice, W is going to remain in the top because there is no other W's and it's positive, so it's going to remain where it is. Now the V. So we have V negative 1 minus negative 4. Remember that two negatives become a positive. So we have a positive 4, and then we take 1 away from that. So 4 minus 1, V3. Because it ends up being positive, it's going to stay in the top with the other variable. So then that will be my final answer there. So come back here. First the fraction. So fraction, then V exponent 3 Make sure you click on the side of that to move it down. You don't want to continue typing in the exponent. Okay, so see, I'm having a little bit of trouble typing this one in here. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to erase the exponent. I'm going to type in the W, and then I'm going to come back and include the exponent. Okay, I'm having a little trouble typing this. There we go. So V exponent 3 and then U. So make sure you type that in just like we have it over here. And so